a little indecisiveness coming in this week so far for Tesla. And actually, if you were just going to look at the quotes today, you would say, oh, Tesla basically was flat. It was only up 57 cents on the day. Well, we did have that nice little pop there this morning, and then you had that larger pullback towards the end of the day. So really, we did have quite a bit of movement in here overall. But if you're, like I said, you're looking at the quotes, basically nothing, right, on the day. So going forward, what do we do with a week that so far in a couple trading sessions has basically been flat, more or less, if you're just looking at the quotes, and then on a day that's still flat, right? What are we going to do with that? Well, what we can prepare for is that we're setting up for something in here, right? So we figured a little consolidation was going to come after we had this big down move in here. The problem was we just didn't know where we're going to set up shop, right? You have this long lower wick right here on this big red candle here. And we thought that that maybe would kind of turn us around. Obviously, last week we had a little bit of a pop in here, but that didn't do it. But right here this week so far, all in all, just looking at the candlesticks, you're going, hey, guess what? We're still kind of indecisive. Let's see what we're working with here as we continue throughout the week and what we can expect. What we're looking for is we want to see a little bit of a pop. But in order to do that, we are going to need a nice break of this 1414. I'm sorry, the 414.50 range and a hold. So we need some good volume in here, a hold, and then we can work our way to that 9-day EMA and then breach that and then work our way on this next leg higher. The reverse of that is, though, if we cannot, then we need to come down here and then hit this lower trend line right here. You can see that is going to be a place for us to have some good support. Lower trend line is right at that 399 range, basically that 400 cycle level. A little bounce off of there just one more time might be good for us in here. But again, it all kind of depends on the overall markets as well and what everybody's saying. But again, we're trying to breach this 414. We need to hold, and then we can work our way higher. That is kind of the overall goal. And that's what we're doing here with Tesla, just kind of watching and waiting and seeing, are we going to get that confirmation on the volume? Are we going to get that confirmation past that big major resistance? What is the gamma exposure telling us? What is the Vega kind of pointing out to us as far as our implied volatility and things like that? That is the question. But right now, volatility is relatively low. IB rank is sitting at 4. You have a $10 expected move priced in by this Friday. So not a whole lot going on in here. But let's see if we can get a little bit of expansion, and hopefully that'll be to the good. But again, we'll have to wait and see. It kind of depends on what the overall markets are doing. So speaking of the overall markets, let's just go ahead and check SPY out while we are in here. Basically, SPY is always going to be pretty much correlated with Tesla. I'm sorry, Tesla's going to be pretty much correlated with SPY, obviously, because it's a large part of that. And right now you can see that basically we had a little bit of pullback in here at the end of the day. We're up in those big, that 688 handle, nice big jump in here today. And then that pullback coming in towards the end of the day, nice little recovery to give us a 686.29 in here at 4 o'clock. So up around $3 and some change on the day. Your IB ranking here is sitting at 26. You have an expected move about $5 by tomorrow, 7 by Friday. So decent size expected moves coming in here in SPY. All right, decent. All right, expected move coming in for Tesla by Friday with $10. But if we can get a little bit more volatility in here, perhaps we do need to go back and hit that 400 in Tesla, pull back in SPY down to 681. Then we can get a nice push in here forward, and then we can go that direction. But we're going to have to wait and see if we do end up holding these 686 levels right here, the 685s, I guess, then that should take Tesla with it if we do get a next leg up in here. What are we going to look at in SPY? Well, obviously, like we just mentioned, that 685 level, 686, that's where that 9-day EMA is trading. We're sitting right on that right now. To the downside, we have 672. To the upside in here, 695. We're going to chop that in half. We're looking at the 689, 690 range first as our major resistance. Anything above that, then we'll focus on that 695. But overall, it looks like this thing does not want to go down just yet. I will say overall, it looks like it kind of wants to go down to 672 once more, if not lower, just to kind of reset all the technicals and everything. But this thing overall looks like it's holding. It doesn't want to die just yet. And we might get a nice little push in here to 700 sometime here in the next few weeks or so. So we're going to wait and see what happens in here overall in the markets. And again, we're going to see how that correlates with our Tesla stock that we were just talking about. And we're going to see what happens in here as we continue throughout the week. So SPY, we're looking at 689, 690. To the downside, we're watching that 685, 686. And then we're looking to 672. For Tesla, we are going to be watching that 414.50 range. That's a major key for us. If we cannot breach that, then we're focusing on 400. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.